Hi, today I want to set up a self-hosted n8n server to run my private automation workflows. So I want something like this where I can set up my n8n locally or privately. Typically, if you want to do this, you would go to GitHub and you would follow their installation instructions. This is great if nothing goes wrong, but n8n is a bigger application and has a lot of dependencies. So you normally run into issues and need to debug it. Instead, I'm going to use the power of ChatGPT and the noBGP MCP server to handle the installation and debug for me. So what you'll need to start with is a noBGP account. So you'll need to create a noBGP account. You'll need to enable the noBGP MCP server with in my case today, I'm going to use ChatGPT, but if you're using Claude, just follow this Claude setup on how to enable your MCP to talk to your LLM. The LLM just needs to support an OAuth-enabled custom MCP server. Once you have that, you can also install the noBGP agent on any of the nodes you want the MCP server to be able to talk to. So the MCP server is going to be able to run commands, manage your software, install things, and that is basically what we're going to allow it to do today. So there are videos on how to set up your account, set up the MCP server, and install agents. So if you just head over to YouTube, you can watch the full videos for that. But for now, I'm just going to focus on n8n. So within ChatGPT, I'm going to just basically tell it to install n8n on a node that I've already deployed in my cloud instance, which I've called n8n. And then when it's done with that, I want it to create a private URL so I can access this from wherever I want once it's installed. I'm not showing this demo in real time because ChatGPT has a lot of confirmations when you use MCP tools. And I wasn't as diligent in clicking all of those, and that video is very long and I don't want to speed it up. So I'm just going to talk through the process and you can follow along. So I gave it the first instruction, the prompt to install n8n on a node. What ChatGPT returned to me was the instructions. So it gave me the instructions to install it. It told me how to run it in the background with systemd. It told me how to check if it was installed and check its status. And when all that was done, that I could come back and ask ChatGPT to create my private service URL to access n8n's web app UI. The problem is I want ChatGPT to do this for me. So I basically said, I want you to install this for me. So it starts using the MCP tools that are given by noBGP, and you'll get lots of confirmations. Insert pop-up here for the actual confirmation, and anytime you use the tool, it's going to want to do this. One big differentiation between ChatGPT and let's say Claude will give you the option to give it permissions for an entire session or longer periods, so you have less confirmations, which good and bad depending on if you want to learn what it's doing. Worth is how much you trust the LLM to just run commands on its own. But once you allow ChatGPT to run the command, it starts doing all kinds of things. So it does base updates. It tries to install Node.18 in this case, which is a little important later. And it tries to install n8n. Basically, it says there's a lot of dependencies, so this is going to take a long time. And ChatGPT doesn't want to sit there and monitor this, so it says you monitor this. Check this log, verify the binaries, and when those are done, you can run these commands to make n8n run as a service. And then in the meantime, I can create the private URL for you. So I say, sure, create the private URL. It goes ahead and does that. It's basically just mapping the default port for n8n, port 5678 on localhost to this URL, random letters, nobgp.com. Okay, great. So we've got a URL placeholder for when all this is done. This runs for a while, and I notice it's not going to finish. It's just sitting there. So I run the tail command to get the logs. There's a bunch of errors in it. I upload the errors to ChatGPT. It doesn't show it here for some reason, but I just did copy and paste in the log, so it had all the information. It's like, ChatGPT is great. Let me fix those. ChatGPT is a little bit verbose. It does explain a lot. So it goes and explains what the errors are. Where if you're using Claude or Claude Code, Claude probably just, tries to fix it without explaining what the errors are. So good and bad, depending on what you want. So it tells me what some errors are. It tells me what it's going to do to fix it. It goes and tries to, reinstall things, retry things, check the version. Great. So now I've got version 18.20 of Node and version 197.1 of n8n. So it thinks it's running. Great. It thinks the proxy should work. When I go to the proxy, I get a bad gateway error. I give that information to ChatGPT. ChatGPT checks, tries to figure out what's happening. It's like n8n's installed. It works from the CLI, but the background process, because it was running n8n in the background, crashed. So it's like, okay, we have to fix this. Bunch of updates later, it basically decides, okay, to fix this correctly or cleanly, I can either run this in a Docker image as a container, or I can match up the n8n version and the Node version to something locally that we know will work. So it basically asked me what I want to do. And I said, well, I know I can't run Docker. I know that because I'm running the compute node in the cloud as a container already, and I don't want the container in a container problem and restrictions. So I basically say, nope, go with the local option. So it basically starts trying to figure out what the best process for this is. It grabs a bunch of logs and basically comes back and says, great, I need to know update from node 18 to 20 and update the n8n version to match to run on a version that runs on node 20. So it does reinstalls Node, reinstalls n8n. The URL is still the same URL. And it says, great, I'm done. And that's when we can go back to our URL and see that it's working. From here, it's just standard n8n, create your account, set up all your workflows, just like normal. So if I installed and tried to debug everything myself, this would have been a painful process, but leveraging the LLM, ChatGPT, and the noBGP MCP server to run commands and manage software on my behalf, this was pretty easy. It did take a while with click, click, click for all the command tools that you have to approve. But besides that, I didn't really have to do anything. There was that one interaction about whether I wanted to use Docker or the local install method. But that's about it. It's a lot easier, makes life simple. This is just one example of what you can do with your LLM powered in combination with the noBGP MCP server. Thanks for watching, and definitely let us know what you're using noBGP and the MCP server for. Thank you.